How about when you are trying to cleanse and a candy bar magically appears? I was like, what the hell? And these are one of my favorite bars. They are so good. They taste so delicious. Like, these people know what they're doing. It reminds me, quality wise, of Nelly's. I know my vegan people know about the Nelly's bars. They're Nelly's bars. Those Nelly's bars, they're so good. Yeah, but I'm just minding my business, doing my cleanse, not eating anything that's unnecessary right now. And there it was. It just magically appeared like poof. Are you still cleansing? And then somebody came in my room with a pot of sizzling food. Talking about, don't this smell good? No, and that's not a part of my cleanse. And then she heard me talking about it. And she said, oh, you were cleansing? So that's pretty funny. I just wanted to check in for a moment and share something that I noticed that me and a friend of mine are learning. A very special, beautiful, lovely, close friend that I'm super, super grateful for. I think that sometimes people measure closeness by what somebody can do for them, and how often they communicate with this person. But one thing that I've learned over the years is that really closeness is the impact that somebody has on your life and what they reminded you of when you met them. It's super, super important. And I just love relationships. I love, connecting with people and sharing positive energy. I think that's a very it just makes me feel good to share good energy with others and help them feel good too. But one of the things that I wanted to say that we were discussing today is oftentimes people will pick at themselves exteriorly, like look in the mirror and look for something wrong, look for an imperfection, and then like degrade themselves about it. And I think that this habitual behavior, kind of comes from a society where everything's measured, well, where people are very materialistically, physically oriented, because if you think about it, if this were a spiritual society, then everybody would be worried about, like things like how clean their soul is and, their virginity. And it's not to say that we aren't worried about those things, because those are things that, me and my friends value. Um, we definitely value our bodies and we value our souls, but I'm talking about like how this whole thing was created, where women are so used to looking at themselves in a mirror and picking themselves apart, and looking for something to complain about or something incorrect or something to fix, you know and don't get it twisted, it's normal. Like, my iPhone camera is so good that it's like just looking like in the mirror. And I'm just like, whoa, but I've been trying to practice, like, not focusing in on imperfections and things that are not the way that they used to be, but just focusing on a care regimen so that I'm not constantly like picking at the things that I don't like, because I had burnt a part of my skin, and you can't see it on this video, but you can see it if I do it on my iPhone. And I was like, damn it, and then today, I forgot what it was that I noticed, but I caught myself because I had already talked about that with my friend, and I guess I had seen the burn mark, and it was still looking like the skin had fell off, and then it came back. I don't know what the hell I was doing, but I was like, I was about to get into it myself, and then remember what I was talking with my friend about, and I was like, don't start that shit. Don't start that shit right now. Like, no, it's perfectly fine. Thank you, skin. Thank you, skin, for being healthy. Okay. Thank you, body, for being so healthy and strong. And so that's what I wanted to make this quick message about, is just us. We're doing a great job. My friend is doing a great job. She is so freaking bomb. Like, when I met her, I was I was in an abusive situation where, I don't know, it's crazy because, like, I just had this beautiful, bright energy, but somehow, you know, got into this situation with this demon that was always talking crap to me. I swear, this nigga did not give me no praise until I broke up with him. Then he was like, "You the goddess." People, man, they're crazy. They're crazy. Bye. But anyways, the abuse had affected my spirit, and I wasn't the way that I was before, because I got lost in it. When people don't, break off the situation when they need to break it off, then they can get in it. Like, and then it affects their energy and their mind and their radiance and their magnetism and everything that makes them them. It's affected. So I was just in this state of, the demon was still there. I had not kicked him to the curb yet. I didn't know how, because situation, children involved and everything. So I know people would be like, you shouldn't call people demons, but if somebody is clucking like a duck, walking like a duck, why they mad to be called a duck? It's like, if we don't want to be seen a certain way, then we have to have actions to reflect that behavior. And as my beautiful Tabitha would say, very good. Because when we have the images, we have the actions to support a positive character, then we don't have to I mean, what? I mean, but anyway, so that person was behaving that way, okay? Now, I've had moments where I was like, what did he say? I've had moments, I have, where I was like, I wasn't the one. So, but yeah, back to the point. When I seen her, it was so freaking magical, because she just reminded me of myself. I was like, oh my God, that's me right there. But it was just so beautiful, because she was just so radiant and so loving and so kind, and just shining her light like the sun on everybody. And it just reminded me of myself and how I was and how I used to be before I allowed myself to be abused. And so I was just like, wow, you know, thank you, goddess. Well, she made eye contact with me and she came over and spoke to me just like I would have, like it was this instant love. She is so magnificent and so beautiful. I'm so grateful for her. I was having that conversation with her today about just how, as women, we, are in a society that generates perpetuates this physical beauty as the most important thing about a woman. And it's not. It's literally like our minds and what we create for ourselves with our minds, and what type of soul we have and what type of heart we have. And the type of soul and the type of heart we have will generate our actions on earth, our deeds to the planet. So these are the things that are important. But of course, we want to be satisfied with our appearance. So, she has inspired me to do care regimens because I was not the one to do that. I was just be like, however it was, I woke up like this. But, as time moved on, I was like, oh shit, that would be beneficial. Like instead of just complaining with myself because I was seeing some changes and I was like no no but I had to take the advice that I was giving today and be like don't start that shit. And that's how we got to deal with ourselves, like just that mommying. We have to mommy our minds if they are attuned to that pattern and just undo it, and let the pattern be love and nurturing and perfection. Because when you have a baby, they don't know how to walk perfectly. But you would never look at that baby and say, what is wrong with you? You can't walk. That's not correct walking. We wouldn't do that. So we can't look at our body and like that. It is such a wonderful, beautiful, strong vehicle that provides a space for us to exist in. So we need to celebrate it every day. And that's what this little message is about. I'm on the journey. I'm on the self love journey. I'm learning how to celebrate my body as well. That's why I said, you know what? I had to give myself back the same advice that I was giving her. And we love our bodies. We practice self care. We take care of our bodies inside and out. But, just like many others, we are learning to unweave that habitual self critiquing energy about the physical appearance. And because it's unbeneficial, like it wouldn't be beneficial to, say if the baby, your legs is wobbling. You they gotta move. So the same thing, we don't need to look at the body, in a way to where we are just creating a negative energy for ourselves, a negative critique. We can still love and care for our perfection, meaning, if we are looking in the mirror and we see something change or something happen, like how I had burnt, this 2 areas on my face. Can't see it on this camera, but you can see it on iPhone. And, we see it, but we don't gotta like trip on it like, oh no, it's ugly or any of that. Just because we're in the care regimen already. So we just, put the love on there, the oils, the creams, whatever it is, but just loving it up, loving ourselves. So that's what I wanted to make a quick video about because it's something, that we often communicate about. And I think it's a part of wellness for sure, the way we view ourselves because this is an energy, and I think about that a lot. Like how is my energy? And it's so funny because the people that I interact with, they'll be like, Wama, you have such good energy. And then I get happy. I'm like, thank you. Because I'm always assessing the energy. Like, wait a minute, how is my energy and what am I bringing to myself? Like, these is like my thoughts, because I know that if I'm feeling insecure about my body weight or what I did to my skin, that's an energy. So it's much better for us to give ourselves the energy of love and compassion and just nurture that, whatever it is that happened, just nurture it and love it, and keep the projection of perfection. Some people are like, hey, they just subscribe to certain things that make them feel good, but I think it's beautiful to just be in the projection that I'm perfect as I am, because then you're sending a message to your body of perfection so that it can continue to perfect itself, since it is a vehicle that operates off of what you put in it and what you say to it. It can, like, metamorphosize. So it's important. And I hope that everyone out there is having a beautiful day with their beautiful, bright souls. And if people don't feel beautiful and bright in their soul, then I hope that they do whatever it is that they need to do, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, to help themselves feel beautiful and bright. And that will be the end of this message, because I just wanted to talk about that, like that positive, nurturing, momming, self love energy in the mirror, in the camera, because I broke my mirror. I had to buy another one. So now I'm looking at the phone. Oh, I still have the one in the bathroom, but whatever. But I'm just saying, like, however people are using to see their reflection, not being critical and negative, and I don't think it's intentional, though. That's why this is a topic, because I don't think that we do this intentionally. I think that people do this habitually, unconsciously, because of traumas, because if you think back to the most purest state, man, babies is just happy and radiant, and they don't know anything about anything, and they're not, well, they know what they know, but they're not tripping off of the fact of how they walk in or slobber coming down their mouth. They ain't like, I got slobber. They just beautiful. So I think that, as the being matures and starts to experience more things, it starts to feel like, more unnecessarily about, those situations and experiences, which they'll project on their physical appearance. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to say right quick is that I have noticed that people will say to someone what they're thinking about themselves. So that's another reason why it's important to feed yourself positivity, love, nurturing, and perfection, and just be delusional in your self love, because there's no other way to be. I mean, well, people can be however they want to be, but that just seems much more pleasant to be delusional in a self love, not in a negative way, and mistreating anybody, but just in a loving, compassionate, divine way. And yeah, so I don't know if you have noticed this, but we were also talking about how when people are thinking about something about themselves, and then other people bring that back to them in conversation. This has happened to me a lot. And at first, it would only happen to me with people, who were empathic, or, had their third eye open. But then I started to just notice that, this is a part of the way that the human body, mind, and experience are interweaved with each other, to where somebody's thinking something, it's circulating in their aura, in their energy field, and then another person thinks about them, and they either feel that energy or they hear it, however their, clairs or mental faculties are working, and then so that's how somebody can be like, man, I was just thinking about that, like it's all coincidental and stuff, we're just able to connect like that as beings. So it's a very special thing. And yeah, so I want to say that, because so the whole how it's relative to the self-love thing is that oftentimes if people are in a state where they're constantly thinking negative things about themselves, and then other people start to talk about those negative things back to them, or to even expound on them with their own opinions, and just take it to a whole nother level, then it's like, then that person can feel like, oh, wow, there's something really wrong with me, or, you know, I need to change these things, when all, all it is that people are reading them energetically through their own feeling system, or they can actually hear them because they have that ability, or there's just certain doorways that are connected, like they might have certain spiritual energy around them that'll be like, oh, such and such insecure about this, whatever it is, it's how communication is moving. And I've been seeing that, you know, and it's funny, just pay attention, pay attention to who talks to you about what. You know, there's some people that are just in tune with God, so they'll bring up things to you unintentionally. It's just God. That's happened to me where people will be like, hey, I was just thinking about that. And I'll be like, well, it wasn't my third eye. It wasn't me. you know, and because I'm like, hey, I don't want to take the credit for that because I didn't consciously tune into your field, source. This is just the source connection right now. And I also think that's really important to identify who's talking to you about what, and you know look at their intentions, if they are a beautiful person that is helping people, and, they just made it their life mission to mentor others, then, what they're saying, can be some positive things to help you. My nose itch, your nose itch. Yeah, yeah. So it's good, and but one way that I don't like to receive that type of communication, no, now I really itch. Okay, it's gone. Is when I have a self-reflective moment with myself, and then somebody try to bring it back to me, and I'm like, now if I ask them for advice, if I ask for advice, that's another story. But if I don't ask for advice and they try to bring that back, like, yeah, because you, and I'm like, stop it. Don't be all up in my stuff, trying to bring back to me what I was telling myself about, because now you all incorrect. Because that was a conversation I was having myself, and it was a debate, and we didn't even come to any agreements on if that was actually true or not. And it's in a certain context. And that's another thing when people be like peeping with their, faculties, or just picking up on the information that is being projected. A lot of times things can get taken out of context, because I had a statement evaluation with myself, and I was like, yeah, these things are reminding me of my mom. Let me get to real specifics, because this one was real. I was like, wow, this reminds me of my mom, that reminds me of my mom. I'm making certain face expressions that remind me of my mom. And I was like, I want to be myself. I love my mom, but I want to be myself. So I started to see reflections of my mom so that I could learn about energy, about DNA, about spiritual influences. These things were already known to me, but so that it could be further validated. Like, this is not just you. This is the energy of the family that you were born in, of the DNA line. That's why it was being revealed to me. Okay? Because I'm on a spiritual journey. Okay? Not so that somebody can text me and say, yeah, so the reason why I wasn't talking to you was because you were starting to act like your mom. And I was like, psst. So me my grandma, and whoever else was listening. We all agreed that that person was incorrect because Wama is Wama and Wama acts like Wama and Wama acts like Wama and Waquisha acts like Waquisha, not my mama. So, yeah, that was one of those times where sis, which is one of my relatives, went into, caught the projection, but didn't know the whole feed. And, it got taken out of context because I was not acting like my mom. I was having a, I was giving myself a course, spirit with spirit and source and me. We are co-creating. So I'm in a course where, I'm recognizing the things that come from me that are genetically related to my mom, to my grandma, to my ancestors, to the energy, to all of that stuff, you know? So that's what this coursework is for me, part of it. So that's what I was thinking about when I was starting to see my mom, is because they wanted me to recognize the energy. But my actions, though, no, honey. So, I mean, in that situation right there, now, with in another situation, I did see, I was like, ooh, I didn't just cycle right into that energy and that pattern. And I seen my mom through my actions in that situation, but that had nothing to do with that person. And they're going to try to take some data and apply it to some other situation where it wasn't applicable. Because she didn't receive nothing but love and compassion from me. And it was validated by everybody. So, yeah. So that's the only time that I really don't like that, is when people take the information out of context, or they'll bring it up for no reason because they just want to. I don't know. I don't even know what the purpose of that is. I don't even want to make a projection about what it is, because then that would be an implication, to assumption about the person's motive. But sometimes, like the other day, I was thinking about I should be more responsible. And I kid you not, my homeboy that I have known ever since I was 18 years old was like, you need to be more responsible. Oh wait, nigga, I was just talking to myself about that. What you all up in my conversation with myself for? And you've been knowing me since I was 18 years old, and you ain't never let that come out your mouth before. And who said I was responsible to begin with? I just started driving last year. I just got a driver's license. Who said I was? Did I say I was responsible? It just went there. But then I had to remember. I wasn't mad at him. I got a video about that. I'm gonna put it out. I didn't get mad, but I was just like analyzing, like, how did I create this? Oh yeah, I was having a conversation with myself, minding my business. And then I had asked him to help me with a situation that I put myself in. And I was like, okay. But again, we've been knowing each other for 18, since I was 18. And I would always handle my business by myself. And only recently, 3 times, I've reached out for help. So when you've been knowing somebody, I'm not 18 anymore. When you've been knowing somebody for over 10 years and you see them constantly, improving and never asking you for any help. Now you offering help. And years go by and they don't ask. And then they finally just swallows their pride and say, I do need your help. Don't call them irresponsible. That's so mean. Literally, it took me a long time to I just couldn't do it. I was like, I know why. I can do everything by myself. And this person was like, you always want to do everything by yourself. You don't ever want to get help from people, And it's true. When I didn't drive, I used to take the bus, and a train because it just made me feel like I was being responsible. It made me feel like I was being independent. So yeah, those are situations where, I would say that when people are taking, the information that they receive, however they received it, and just kind of giving it back to the person, because that's kind of just like the nature of communication. Those people are not at fault. They didn't do anything wrong. I love them. Send them lots of love. What this is about is how people will bring back to you your most dominant thoughts, what you think about the most, and how you feel about yourself. How you feel about yourself. They're going to project that back to you through their own actions and words. So that's just something that, we need to stay in the awareness of. And I done ran my mouth for 30 minutes and 58 seconds. So I'm going to stop because I need to go. But I'm wishing everybody lots of love, peace, harmony, and healing. Thank you for your time. And definitely, I would appreciate it if you share this video because I'm pretty sure there are people out there that could benefit from this message. Have a beautiful day.